Hey, what's going on? Welcome along to episode 69 of the Strategy and Conversions podcast. I'm Jamie Michael Joseph, and as always, I'm joined by Mr. Mark Tanner.
Hello, everyone.
Now, Mark, last week we ran a little webinar which was called the 3X Strategy, and this was all about 3Xing the income in your business, right? And we put this together just because one, that is what we do, right? It's how we help businesses and stuff like that. But it's that kind of conversation that keeps coming up, and it comes up from talking to people in the street. It comes up talking with members within our membership. It comes up talking with people in business, and it's that whole thing of we need to make more money.
Yeah. There's the pain. It's the pain thing, isn't it? Especially, we talk about this quite often, don't we? With the cost of living is rising and everything is rising. People talk to me all the time about how stuff is going, how prices are rising, everything, not just about in business, but in life as well. And we ultimately, that the only way we're going to still find that element of freedom that we're looking for is we have to get more income into our business. So if you're a director, you can take a bigger dividend. If you're a sole trader, you can take a drawing. Sorry, this is for the UK market, I guess, but I think they have the similar kind of models in the States as well. But you can't take any more out of your business unless you get more coming in. Basically, is a simple answer. So it's all about that
simple pot.
Yeah.
When you boil it all down to it, it isn't. It is that you have to have more coming in.
You've got to have more
to be able to take more out. And it's like, okay, look, maybe people who have a business where they've done well, maybe things are ticking along, things are nice, maybe they've had that increase and everything's fine. And it's like, okay, keep going. It's like there doesn't have to be that ceiling. You can keep going and keep going. And it's like once that ceiling starts to come in and it is a true ceiling, well, then you just pivot to the side, right? And then you build something off of that side. But the whole kind of point now with more money, we have done episodes in the past about making more money. And the last two episodes, which got some really good traction, is all about your dream life. It's about a lifestyle business, and it's creating that business that supports you, like you said, that vehicle to help you get to where you want to be. And we ran through different things as well about money. We talk money because that is the trade thing that we use, right? No matter what you're trying to do, whether it's a case of you just want to buy lots of things for you and you want to live a life of luxury, or you want to support other people, you want to set up a foundation, you want to do whatever you can, right? It all comes back to making money. So that's why we talk about obviously,
and that's the easiest thing to measure, isn't it? A lot of people talk about measuring the amount of leads and the amount of sales and their conversion rates, but ultimately it all comes down to the thing that your extra conversion rates or your extra leads and sales are generating is income. So it comes down to money. The easiest thing to measure. A business isn't all about making money. I understand that, and you shouldn't be following the money. But ultimately, that is the easiest thing to measure. You can't go wrong. There is this black and white. It's simple mathematics.
And that is it. I mean, I was just about to say it's all about the maths, and you're talking about the about in the UK and in the States. I can remember the other year I was watching like a NFL game, the American football game, and there's a guy there who he was English. He went over then to play, and now he's come back and he's doing the commentary, right? And he's talking to the broadcaster. The broadcaster's English, and the broadcaster says something about maths, and he's like, "It's math, not maths." And it's like there is that breakdown, right? In the UK, we call it maths.
We call it
everywhere else they would call it math.
They call it math,
But from school, we're always taught maths, right? It's that kind of thing. But we're going to say maths is that whole niche kind of thing, right? We're going to say maths, but you know what I mean. But that thing there is like, look, it is business is maths, marketing is maths. I mean, that's where so many people get confused. It's like when we talk about strategy, when we talk about planning, when we talk about frameworks and all this kind of stuff, we put things in place so we can measure it because we want to know if it's working, if it's not. We want to know if we should spend more money, more time, more energy doing that. If it's going to increase. If it's not going to increase, then we change it away. And that's what we basically did within this 3X webinar. And look, we said 3X because we're just going, look, we can show you how to 3X your business. It's in the maps, right? But actually we can show you to basically exit by a lot more.
Oh yeah.
We can actually show you to exit by less, right? But the whole point now is we did it with 3X because it's, you only need to increase the 3 metrics, by half to get to your whole kind of tripling your business. So it's like that stuff there is what we ran through. We'll put a link in the comments and stuff like that, wherever you're watching or listening to this, so you can check out that training as well. It's just a short training, I think like half hour, but it really breaks this down. And what we're looking at here is just three simple topics, right? So we're looking at conversion, obviously. We're looking at how we get more money in the bank. We're looking at the lead generation, but what we're looking at as well is that middle part, that mechanism. What actually gets people to raise their hand to show them to be interested.
Yeah.
How we can actually then increase that. So once we know these three parts, we get to increase those, and actually increasing those is where we just make the money.
Yeah, absolutely. So so talking about that, and what was the first thing that we need to start looking at to increase?
So for me, I always work backwards, right? So I always kind of start
with a good
with
idea.
And I'm saying that. I mean, I do that from a strategic marketing point of view, right? But I know with you, I mean, we do this. We've got training. We've got a program, right? And it actually starts with you, and it starts with mindset.
Yeah.
Because anything we do needs to come from the vision. We need to know why. We need to know what we're doing, it for. So if I come back to it, it's the same in business. It's the same for an individual. Is that we look at vision. We look at that vision. Like, what is it we're actually working towards? What we actually we're going towards? Because we want to, for me anyway, I always want to get a number. I want that end number.
Yeah, I think it's I mean, I've been dealing in project management for years as well, and it's all the same about project management. You've got to start with the end in mind. If you don't start with the end in mind, whatever that is, and however long that is, maybe it's a year, 2 years, or it could be, you could even be really ambitious and put it out there and say, well, I've got a 10-year plan. But unless you've got a vision for what result is going to be, you could say, well, I want to 3 times my business, or I want to do, I want to 5 times my business. But it's meaningless, because that's not, you don't even know where you're going with that. You don't know the destination. Exactly. It's a question of, it's the question of why, and what's the purpose. Yeah. So what's the purpose of doing it? But if you know you have a vision that in 3 years, I want this, I want to have, I don't know, this, they can paint as many pictures as you like, really, but I want this whole ball as my lifestyle. This is what I want to have. Right. Okay. That's your end goal for your business. And the business is your vehicle to get there. So then, as you said, you work it backwards. So what do we need to do? So if it's a 2-year plan, that sometimes so many things can change that, the last part of the plan is right. I've got the vision, and then you're going back into, say, maybe quarters. But once you come down even further, you can start looking specifically, what do I have to do this quarter, this month, or even this week to start making that happen? And because if you're not intentional, it's all very well saying, I've got this vision, and you say, great, that's going to motivate me to get up in the morning. But then you've got to, every day have to be intentionally getting towards that vision. And so it could be a number of, says, okay, it could be that I need to get this income this month, therefore relate that back. How am I going to get that from the sales? How am I going to get how many prospects do I need? So you come back to a list, like you said with the math, is I need this many prospects. I need to be contacting this many prospects into my sales funnel this week, and you've got a target to work towards.
Yeah, absolutely. And that right there is, we had this discussion earlier actually, and we were just talking about how we work quite well together, because we are that kind of yin and yang. It's like we help people in different ways, where it's like, you focus a lot on that kind of coaching and mindset of business and stuff like that. I look at more of the kind of strategic play of marketing, and we cross over a bit, but we don't have expertise the same as the other person, which means we kind of bring it all to the table.
Yeah.
And that part there is so good. We have a program where, you deal with that kind of mindset stuff at the beginning, and then it gets into, okay, look, let's get the maps in place, and let's get the right kind of frameworks and infrastructure in. But what I look at them with that number. So once someone's, okay, they've gone through, we've got 6 power questions, right? If they were working with us, they would go through 6 power questions to get whatever it is that we're working towards. We've got that end number then. So just say, for instance, now that end number is 120K, right? That's what they want to make. We're not going to get into tax and
no.
Gross profits and net profits and all that kind of stuff, right? And that 120K, if you're just there going, 120K a year, like that doesn't even fill up the Ferrari, then let's just change it to like 120 million, right? It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah,
whatever it is, yeah. It's like we've got that at the end, right? So all of a sudden then we go, right, okay, to be able to make 120K, well, we've got this product that we sell at, you know, £600. So
yeah,
it's like, and again, like quick maths, was that 200? Is that is like
yeah,
so? Yeah, I'm gonna go with that anyway, right? If I'm wrong,
yeah.
I'm wrong, but you know, we're gonna go with that. So it's like, okay, if we're selling a product there for £600, right? We need to get 200 people to buy
Mm,
it, and it's like we don't need 200 people today, right? We need 200 people over the year.
yeah,
It's like that's where we get to really break it down. Like you said, that's where we get to look at a quarter or monthly and stuff like that. So again, look, if it's 200 people for the year, that's like 50 per quarter.
mm,
Now it becomes a lot more manageable, right?
yeah,
You
yeah,
can go, right, okay, we just need to get 50 customers over the next quarter. And again, look, that's, you know, that there could be that you're not really doing too much involved and stuff like that. It could be totally different, and maybe the product that you offer is £20,000, right? So that way you only need six, you know, so you only need to get one customer, you know, every 2 months or something
yeah,
like that. It doesn't matter, right? It's just that working that out where we get to go, okay, we need to get 50 people, you know, each quarter. And again,
mm,
all it is breaking it down and looking at the maths and going, okay, how do we get 50 people each quarter to raise their hand? You know, we probably need to speak, we probably need more, we probably need to get in front of more than 50 people, don't we?
oh yeah, yeah,
So,
definitely,
so how do we do that then? How do we get more people showing intent, not just marketing in a way where we're just going to put stuff out there and we're just going to go, we'll put stuff out on social, we'll put stuff out on SEO, we'll put stuff out for paid ads, we'll put stuff out for blogs and all this kind of stuff and just go, we'll put this out, we'll go fishing, we'll just chuck stuff out and go, okay. It's more about how do we cast the net? How do we get the people who are interested to come into our ecosystem and then raise their hand and go, yeah, okay, I'm interested in what it is that you offer. What's the next step? And
yeah,
that there is like that 3X strategy that we're talking about. Is that those three parts there is going, okay, how do we get in front of the right people, the people who have intent? How
yeah.
do we get them to raise their hand? How do we convert them into becoming clients?
And that's why it's essential, isn't it, to know to eventually get to the stage of knowing what your conversion rate is, because you know that if you need 50 people, for example, and you're converting, yeah, if you'll say you're converting one in five or 1 in 10 even, then you know you've got to be that net you've got to cast is say 1 in 10. It's around 500 people. You've got to be really working to get it out there to 500 people. And so you start to think, right, okay, my target is how do I do that? And each day you work towards that number. And by once you have a conversion rate that you've seen work over a while, you just look at how that conversion rate will work for you. I need to contact this many, and then looking to raise that conversion rate, as I know that you talk about. So instead of it being 1 in 10, maybe you could make that conversion rate 1 in 9 and start to raise that conversion rate you're doing. So all of a sudden, you're still contacting 500 people, but you're getting more sales from
Yeah.
those 500 people.
And that's exactly it. I mean, with the 3X strategy, with the webinar that we did, is that we looked at the maths, right? So we looked at those three sections and we looked at, okay, look, if you're making 40K a year at the minute, well, you could be making 100K a year just by knowing the maths, knowing the sections, and looking at how you can increase them.
Mm.
And we actually looked at how you increase them. We didn't even get into that on, okay, how do you fine tune it? How do you make it better? So like you said, if you're converting 1 in 10, how do you get to you start converting 1 in 5?
Yeah,
You make that
yeah,
better. That's where instead of, you know, you could actually free extra business and do half the work to what you're doing.
yeah, yeah,
It's
exactly.
insane, right?
Yeah,
But that
yeah,
is how business works. That is what you need to be looking at with the right infrastructure, the right strategic approach, and knowing the maths. Because it is that thing, like it is that kind of equation that you just went through, where you just said, okay, like how many people do I get in front of? How many people of those actually convert? If you actually ask most people those numbers, they wouldn't know.
no, no. I think that's interesting because you ask. Uh, I've been to so many network meetings and talked to in an online network meeting and face to face, and it's all everybody saying, "I need more. I need more. I need more clients. I need more prospects. I need more clients." And and I'm not talking just about raising prices, but one of the things is saying, how can you Do you need more, or do you just need to convert more, be more clever at what you do? And sometimes they meet a certain amount of prospects a month, and I know so many people who do this where they they talk to so many prospects, and they might follow up with two or three, or yeah, they have a rate where 30% of their prospects they're following up with, and they may get one from that. And then you say, well, what about the other ones you don't follow up? And they say, oh yeah, you haven't spoken to him. And as we say, the secret is the fortune is in the follow ups, plural, not just one call, because they may be walking the dog or something, but just on multiple calls and multiple times to try and arrange them. And you can find by just following up 3-5 times somebody, 3 to 5 times somebody, you suddenly increase your rate of conversion because you've caught them on a good day. Yeah, so they've had a bad day, they've had a row with the family or whatever, or they're just busy, they can't take your call, they're not really engaged. Even if they answer your call, I'm really not with it at the moment, can you call back? And then if you don't, it's gone. But when you call back, say in 3 days' time or 2 days' time, they say, oh yeah, I've got the time to talk to you now, because they've got a gap. And all of a sudden you follow up the conversation you had. And yeah, that sounds good, actually. It's quite interesting. And you have just converted an extra person that you probably would have left behind. So much money is left on the table by people not following up on those conversations or meetings they've had with people.
Yeah, absolutely. And we even look at that even further, don't we? And if you look at that on the back end and you look at upsells, downsells, cross sells, retention.
Oh, yeah.
And it's exactly the same as that. Money's being left on the table, and that's not a way of going, yeah, how do we make more money out of each person? It's about serving the customer, you know. I mean, we did this on an episode, I can't think which one it was, but we're talking a good year or so ago, right? And we talked about it this way, where if you had like a camping store, right, and someone come in to buy a tent, and you're talking with them and they say, yeah, I'm going on a camping trip with my family, you know, I'm going to take them out and everything like that. And you're having a chat with them and you say, have you ever been camping before? No, I just need a tent, you know, we're managed with just that. You're actually doing them a disservice, right? By not saying, look, you're going to need some torches, you're going to need a way to light a fire, you need this kit, you know, what about this? What about this emergency stuff? What about, you know, sleeping bags? What about all this kind of stuff to make your trip more enjoyable, to make that the whole outcome better, a better experience, and just go in that they're interested in a tent, we'll sell them a tent. Like, that's fine.
Yeah. It's all about that value thing, isn't it? We say, if you set up in business, of course, it's difficult to sort of bring this analogy across. Of course, you set up in business to make money, otherwise you wouldn't set up in business, you'd have a job. But really, the point of setting up business is to give value to people, give more value than they're getting at the moment. And like you said, with the tent, yes, you could sell them a tent, but if I know, I used to go camping a lot. If you've got 4 people if you've got 4 people and you're selling them a tent, you don't sell them a 4-berth tent because it's so cramped and horrible. You say, well, you know, you need some room, you need some extra room, and so maybe you need to look at something like a 6-berth tent, so you've got room for your luggage and stuff in case in the UK where it's raining all the time. And then it's a case of, okay, if you've got, as you said, so you want torches, you want lanterns, maybe. The chances are, if they need, you know, if they need to walk around the tent at night, they're going to want to see where they're going. So, especially if they don't want to trip over the guy rope. So again, torches are those. And it's just things that, as you say, that not only make it more enjoyable, but adding value. Oh, that's really good. I can do this and I can do that. And you know, cooking utensils, all that kind of stuff. If you're not offering that, as you said, you're not offering them everything you can. What you're doing is you're asking them to go somewhere else to get that stuff, which is, which is a pain for them probably because they just want to get it in one place only. And that's a really good analogy.
Like the thing is that they're either going to go somewhere else to get it, and they could be getting an inferior product by going somewhere else, right? Or their experience doesn't live up to the expectation, and they never go again. You know, like you said, they could be blaming you that the tent is too small. It's like, but that's what it's for, right? And that whole thing of the value comes from the experience. The value comes from knowing, from being there, from doing it, and stuff like that. So you can actually give people the full picture. You can give them the steps to actually get what it is. And we've been through this so many times on the podcast, where I've said that there's so many people out there selling, the magic wand, and it's like they only sell part of the solution, or they're only giving you part of the solution. And sometimes it's because that's all they know. And it's like what they're actually selling you isn't bad, but by itself it isn't going to work, or isn't going to get the outcome that you're wanting, because there's lots of different things, And it's like, like you said, like shameless plug for us is that we've been there, we've done that. The stuff that we put in place comes with experience. So that if a business comes in, we go, right, okay, look, these are the steps, these are the framework, this is the framework that you need to follow. Can it be tweaked? Can it be adapted and stuff like that? Yeah, of course. But all we do is we make sure we move from from stepping stone 1 to stepping stone 2 to stepping stone 3 in the right order. We're not trying to jump steps and get to the end one. So that thing, like we were saying, is that if you had your number at the end, and then you can work backwards. Imagine you didn't have a number. You just each month, aren't you? How much did we make this month? How much are we making this quarter? Well, how much did we miss out on? What's our conversion rate? Well, we don't know. Well, we're just kind of in blind business, aren't we? We don't really know what's going on. We don't have control over it.
Yeah.
And what does control come back with? Well, control comes back to being able to measure.
Yeah. You've got and again, it's that simple. It is simple maths, and it's not. I'm not trying to say that business is easy, because I know that we know that business isn't. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing this. We'd probably be living in on an island somewhere, our own island. But business is not easy, but it is simple. I've always maintained that if you're a project manager, if it's a good thing to actually say, if you're not project manager and you don't know the skills of project management, learn them, because business is all a project, and the project starts with an end goal, and every little piece of your business is a project. And if you really want to know how to sort of get on well in business, learn project management, because it's an easy thing to do. Helps you break things down to little tasks, which we're talking about, to get to the end goal. And but it is simple. There's simple steps, and that's what we keep saying. It's simple steps will get you along the road. They're not easy steps necessarily, or not easy to get the outcome of that particular step. But the more consistent you are with those simple steps, you know that the outcome will be achieved. And it's as straightforward as that.
In that webinar, that there was a slide there that I kind of went through, the simple maths and stuff like that. And it's like, right, okay, marketing agency, let's take them from 20 grand a month to 60 grand a month. Right. And, show the workings out and everything like that. And I said it at the end of that part, I was just like, it's magic, but it's not a magic wand. It's like, it does require some effort, right? You do have some work. It's not that you can just like tap it and just go, yep, that's it, it's done. I'll walk away to my island and it's happening. If you're putting in effort anyway on your business, right? So you may as well put in the effort in the right way. You may as well be doing the right things, following the right steps. And the way I've always kind of said it over the years is connecting the dots, right? That to me is the main thing, is that, if you've got the steps in place, well, you just connect the dots. If you do this to get from one dot to the next dot, and then you get to the next dot to the next, that's how simple it is. That's how simple business is, right? Is that you're just moving along. Time, going in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting because as you were talking, I just recalled somebody I know last week. They just they did their business results end of the year. They've increased their business 60%. And I said, oh, brilliant. Okay. And I just asked them how they do it. And she said just saw more people, had more one-to-ones with more people, put more effort in, more conversations, and got the result. And it really is that. If you put the effort in, and it's a guided effort, so you know what you're doing and why you're doing it. You put that effort in, the results will come. But if you don't put any effort in, then they don't. It's like the Field of Dreams, isn't it? If you build it, they will come. Well, that doesn't work in business. You've got to build it, and then you've got to get people to it as well. And that's the marketing element, which
that's exactly it, man. I was just going to say then as well. I was just going to just say exactly that. Look, more conversations. It's like in that training, look, the way we kind of looked at it is we said, look, more people raising their hand. because
Yeah.
there are so many people out there who that they want what you offer, right? There are people out there that you will have conversations with and you won't ask for the sell, or you won't follow up, and then you'll see them working with someone else later, right? And it's like that person is there needing you right now. You're doing them a disservice by not putting stuff out there to get them to you, right? But what we want to do is make sure that they raise their hand, because we want people who are interested in actually working with us. We don't want to be fighting people. I know, like you said earlier about, following up with people. I think over time you learn that kind of back and forth where you know if something's there or not. And it's like
Yeah.
I've probably had it over the years, mate, where people are like badgering you to get on a call with them, or to have a chat with them about something that they offer, and you're just like, I'm just not interested. It's like you're wasting your time, you're wasting your effort, because I'm just not interested. And like sometimes you have to know when that is and isn't right.
Yeah.
And but if you can actually forget about all that and just get them into your ecosystem, it's like you're in a spider, they're in a spider's web, then within your business, they're kind of moving around their inside. Is at some point they're going to raise their hand and go, yes, okay,
Yeah.
I'll help with that.
Yeah. And that's what comes back to the kind of the buyer's mountain idea, isn't it? That you put out is the buyer's mountain is that not everybody is at the top ready to buy. And even though they come into your ecosystem through maybe a small little product or something, they're still on that slope. They're not ready to buy your big thing. They're just still thinking, all right, this is good. But they're making their progress, getting from base camp to camp one, camp two, and eventually they'll get to where they want to do, and that's when they're ready to buy. But you've got to take care of the people, of the huge amount of people that are below or underneath that kind of buying summit, because those are the people that you need to work with and just keep contacting with, keep following up, keep chatting. Follow-ups don't mean you're badgering them to buy something.
Yeah.
It means you're talking to them, asking, how can I help you? How can I support you? Is there anything I can do? Being their servant, if you like, because that's the whole point, isn't it? You're serving them with your product. Of course, you want to sell more of this thing at the top, but down here, you're serving them and asking them, how can I help you? What are you struggling with at the moment? Is there something that I can help you with, and to just gain a little bit more traction from where you are at the moment?
And that's the thing that with buyers mountains, like people are always working their way up, right? And it's like they're either going to buy from someone else or they're going to buy from you. It's like, so you have to make sure that they buy from you.
Yeah.
Because if they're getting to that point where they now have a need, you can speed up obviously that lift to the top of the mountain and stuff. But it's like if they have a new realization, something happens, and they move up a step or something like that. If you're not there to be able to offer it to them, they're going to go somewhere else. People aren't waiting around anymore. It's that we live in a time where the customer is in control. I mean, customers have always been in control, but sometimes people have had a monopoly over something, or they've been the only game around and stuff like that. But now, like, customers have so many options that you have to be considered as the go-to option.
Yeah, for that thing, yeah, and that's right, because if you keep yourself front of mind through following up and just helping them out with different things, then it's the first person they'll think, oh, I need this. They're going to phone you because you're right at the front of their mind, as opposed to you've gone and they think, well, I wonder who does this. They might go on the internet or phone up someone else and say, can you recommend someone who does this? And that might be someone else, because they didn't have you there, and they didn't have your card, your number, whatever. You didn't. You've got to be following up, which I know we've gone off on a tangent a little bit, but follow-ups are so important because it keeps you there and it keeps you in their focus. And you tell them each time something changes that, oh, we're delivering this now. This is something else we offer. We do this. We help with that. So they're always aware of all your services. Because like you said, if they're not aware of them and they don't think you do them, even if you do, and even if you have a good relationship, if they don't think that you offer it, they'll go somewhere else for it.
It's exactly, and when you're talking there, it has come like full circle. Like, so even kind of going off on a tangent, right? It comes back full circle, because when it comes back to the maps, is that, well, we're always looking at the maps, which means we're always focused on those areas. So by always being focused on those areas, we're always marketing. right?
Yeah.
We've always got this kind of evergreen content. We've always got this kind of marketing machine that we're pulling people in and stuff like that at whatever stage that they're at. But the whole point is that it's always working. One of the biggest mistakes that you will see within marketing is that people just pop up when they're trying to sell something.
Yeah.
They're not adding the value and stuff like that. And people can smell that. And I think, especially in the times that we live today, is like, all of a sudden that, someone's putting something out on social media, talking about a new program or something like that. That's it. They're just looking to sell that program.
Yeah.
Like,
I saw
what
one
they've
today.
been posting for the past 6 months. If they've been posting stuff each time, take notice of the program, because they're quite consistent in what they've been putting out.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because I saw a Facebook post today from somebody who's been around the circuit. I see him pop up every now and then. And it was today, it came up about helping you find your ideal clients. You think, oh, right, so what programs he's selling this to?
Back on that one, yeah.
Yeah,
that's the thing, isn't it? It goes in cycles and stuff like that. And we spoke about it where everyone became a chat GPT expert, stuff like that, jumping on that kind of bandwagon to sell services and courses. And we've got now, we even said about, you've got Grant Cardone is on the whole kind of buy a business rather than create one, and that. And it's like, is that the thing that he's trying to push now for a little bit, or is there some substance in there that's what he's doing? So it's like, it's interesting sometimes when, and I think we are quite skeptical. We think, okay, are they trying to sell something to us? Are they trying to pull the wool over our eyes or something like that? But like you said, it comes back again. Look, beginning of the year, we said, look, the word for this year is genuine.
Yeah.
And it is like, look, if you can be transparent, if you can be genuine, if you can actually help people, and it's like, it's that thing, mate. I mean, there's like a little group on Facebook that we have, which is a hangover from like a challenge that we had like years back, right? And you just put a post in there just saying, look, if anyone has any questions, just ask. And it's that thing of just going, look, if we can just help you take the next step, it's like, look, we can see the whole staircase, right? We know the whole staircase that you need to follow, but you can just see the next step, right? So it's like, let's just help you take that next step.
Yeah. I think that, and that's crucial, I think, because everyone's got to go at their own speed, isn't it? And you get people who want to run at those steps. That's fine. And you get the person who is quite methodical. They want to just make sure that all the T's and I's are crossed before they take that next step. So everyone is going to have a different pace. Everyone, and we talk about momentum all the time, don't we? About the Momentum Max and all the different momentum products we have. And it's all about driving along at the momentum that you want to set, as opposed to anybody telling you, but you've got to put your foot down because you've got to get here much more quickly. Because sometimes doing that, getting there much more quickly, you're not ready for that step up. And that's another big mindset thing that I talk about, is the mindset to be ready for the next step, which a lot of people ignore, and at their peril.
It is insane, and even for me, like I said, it's been an eye opener for me. Like when you go through some stuff, and I'm just like, wow, like that's stuff I wasn't even thinking and stuff like that. But like that part there, that whole momentum, people going at their own pace. I mean, coming back to the maths with that 3x strategy, right? That's exactly what we're saying. Like there will be people there who they want to double, each 3 and 8 times their business. They'd be more interested in that. There will be some people who want to, times it by 1.5 and triple their business. There will be people who just go, look, a small improvement in each of these will really make a big difference to me. And that's the whole point. Like there's no right or wrong answer, but there are right or wrong maths.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's that. And those rates, and at the very front end, the marketing, the whole marketing and prospecting, marketing, all that kind of whatever you want to call it. It's you've got those conversion rates. You've got to be quite confident that you know them. And if you don't know them to start off with, you're just starting out, then just get out there as much as you can until you start getting people in, and measure how many people. So measure that rate from how many people you contact to how many people start working with you. And it could be terrible to start with. It could be, you contact 100, 200, 300 people and you get one customer. And yes, I mean, it happens, and also that so conversion rate is really, really, really low. But at least you have one, and at least you can start working on it then. But if you're never measuring it, you don't know. You have no idea.
Exactly. You know, that's the big thing. And like you say, even if you're starting out, it's like you can put targets in place. So like I said,
Yeah, yeah.
that 120K, like that's a brand new business. You've now gone, okay, look, I need 50 people to speak with. You know,
Mm.
I need 50 clients each quarter now, you know. So okay, that's my target. And then you just work out the other targets then to do that, and then you can tweak them. That's the best thing with it, is that you can tweak them, right? They're not set.
Yeah,
As, you know, if you look at, if we're going per quarter, in one respect, it doesn't matter what happened last quarter, because we're back on track now. We can tweak it, we can put it in the right way. If we know that, okay, this area sucks compared to how we thought,
yeah.
well, how do we improve it first off, right?
Yeah,
But okay,
yeah,
now we just need to adjust our maths. It's like, it's simple as that. Like you said, it is simple stuff, and there's lots of different things around it to obviously, you know, how you improve it and how you can get better quality people in, and how you can improve your conversions and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just gonna say, like, again, watch that training. We'll put a link in.
yeah.
Right, watch that training, because it is powerful stuff. Once you know that, you get filled with confidence. You said that earlier. Like, some people, they just don't do things, and I think a lot of times it just comes back to that confidence, is that they don't know what to do. They don't know what the next step is, and
Mm.
it's that having clarity over, okay, I need to do this because, okay, and I'm doing this. The reason I'm doing this is because of that. And why did I do that? Oh, it's because of this here.
Yeah, exactly.
And you get to flip that as well, where you get to go with the maths. You get to go, it didn't quite work out. Why was that? It's because I didn't do this part.
Yeah, and that's normally the case, isn't it? It's funny. I've been around long. Well, we've both been around long enough. When things aren't going quite right, you can normally, if it's a one-off, you can sort of think, yeah, okay, maybe that didn't turn out as I expected. But often, when you've had 2 or 3 months of a kind of a bit of a lull, you can normally trace it back to things I didn't do enough back there to now have filled my pipeline for now. And you can think, and you know that really you can blame this and that, you can blame all sorts of things going on, but really, it's down to you that I didn't do enough there, and so what I've got to do is now start doing the work that I want to do, so that in 3 months' time I will see those results, because you won't see them instantly, but depending on the lead time of your sales, I guess. But it's momentum again, isn't it? Everything. If you're not if momentum, and I don't mean being pushy, but if a car is not being pushed, it slows down. Momentum slows down, and it's the same thing. If you're trying to roll a rock up a hill, and you're getting some momentum with it, as soon as you start to slow, the rock is going to slow down. So you've got to be constantly on that case, and it does mean that sometimes in business, it does mean it appears to be a flog. You're just always slogging and trying to get this done, which is so important, because if you don't have the clarity of your vision, you'll stop. And when you got the vision, you say, yeah, but I'm doing this. It's really hard work, but I'm doing this because I want to get there. And the reason I want to get there is because I've got this lovely vision in front of me of why I want to get there. Then you'll go through the hard times.
Exactly that. You know, and it all comes back to knowing the maths, knowing the
Yeah,
vision, you know, knowing the steps to get there, and putting in the work. You know, and it's
putting
like,
in the
to me as well, putting in the work. Like, once you have these steps, once you have this framework, you're putting in the work in a smart way, because your effort is actually tied to results. It's not just tied to doing stuff. We've done it ourselves. We know people who've done it as well, and it's like, we've created this kind of marketing. We put out this marketing. We put out that marketing. Well, why? What was the reason behind it? You know, it was like, there was nothing really to do it. Okay, awareness, yes, okay. You know,
mm,
showing yourself, you know, and everything like that. Okay, that's better than nothing. But when there's nothing coming from it, it's because you haven't put anything that's tangible towards your metrics. You know, so
mm,
it's like, what you need to start doing now is doing stuff where you can pull people in to things that you can measure.
yeah, exactly. And it's interesting you said there about it's that the awareness thing. The awareness carries on regardless. There's always got to be the awareness, but the awareness is part of it, isn't it? It's the awareness, and then take leading people, if you like, through by their hand out of the awareness stage to actually being a, to a little bit more commitment. And they will not. Well, in some cases, you'll get them that they'll walk there themselves, but in most cases, you need to kind of drop breadcrumbs to
Yeah.
show them that you've got it, and they'll follow those breadcrumbs. I'm not saying yank them by the hand and say, "Come on, buy my stuff," because that never works. But you've got to show them that there's a reason for them to step towards you. Because again, it comes back to value. If you're not giving anybody any value, then they're not going to buy your stuff anyway. They're not going to be interested. So if you're going back to your tents, if a family of four come along to you, and you've only got 3 to 4 man tents, chances are you're not going to sell much. If you've got a range of tents from 4 man up to say 8 man tents, then there's far more choice for them. And so you're offering more value. You've got the equipment as well. People are going to think, actually, I need that. I'm going to buy that. And we're going to think about that. And it's because you're offering more value. And that's comes, I've always said in businesses, and I know you agree with the same thing. It's about the value that you can add to somebody's business life that will then get them to buy from you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's exactly, isn't it? Like that's
Yeah.
But that's what we all want. Any purchase that we do, anything that we do that is our choice to do, we do it for a reason.
Mm. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that's exactly what we do with what we do in business and stuff like that. Is anyone we work with, whether that's an individual, whether that's a business, is that when we're looking at it, look, we're just looking, how do we improve it?
How do we improve it?
And that there is improving your situation, right? And that could be, it could be that you've got enough money, that you've got more than enough money within the business, but actually you can't measure it. There's nothing that's systematized. You can't simplify what's going on, and we just improve the system so you can measure it, or you can do things in a better way. Or like your time could be stretched where you're just like, I can't take on any more. It's like, okay, how do you improve it to take on better quality and make better money, more money? So everyone's different in a way, but everyone comes back to the same maths.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, as you say, challenges can be different, but yes, it's a case of it's always a case of what do I need to do more of that will get me to that place rather than it's not just about more of, I guess, because that means people are trying to flog themselves to death sometimes, but it's how can I work smarter? You said it earlier on.
I mean,
how can I work smarter to get to that same place?
I think smarter is definitely the right word, but the word that comes to my head is better.
Yeah,
just like just doing things better, and it's just like if you do things better, you get a better result. So, and it's just like that should be done in in the smartest way possible.
Yeah,
and stuff like that. But I reckon we should wrap things up here.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
It's been a great episode. Is again, it's this stuff right here. To me, this is the powerful stuff. It is like you get this right, everything else builds on top. This is the foundations, of any kind of building, no matter how tall they go, right? It starts with the rock solid foundations.
Yeah.
Putting the right maths in place, the right framework, the AAA method, 3X strategy, putting that in place would definitely set you up on the right path. So check out that training. And,
definitely.
Mark, I'll let you put the last kind of word in.
Well, I think it comes to the last phrase. Really, it's about the maths, and the maths will help you to work smarter, better, and help you improve what you're doing once you know your numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. And just before we wrap it up, then I just say again, check out that training, and if you found value in this, look, give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us a share, comment below, whatever it is, wherever you're seeing this. Share it with someone else. You may help that person. That's what it's all about, right? Just making the world go around. So, well, always been a pleasure, mate. We shall catch you next time.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Yeah, okay.
See you
Cheers.
later.